In 2019, I made 100K in 14 days. It was actually more than that when you count payment plans, but this is just cash collected. I went from having not a lot of money to having 100K drop into my bank account over a 2-week period. It was a pretty surreal experience that shaped how I view money, how fast you can make large amounts, and the most important thing, a huge reality check when it comes to what it's really like to make a large sum of money in a short amount of time. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, and the most important thing, which is why your financial goals should be way bigger than they currently are. This is the most important thing nobody will tell you about, and you definitely want to stick around to the end to find out why. The first thing I did to achieve this record-breaking month at the time was I set the foundation early from the start by having a large audience of over 1 million people to sell to. This is the thing no one will tell you. It really was 3 years of work that allowed me to generate that 100K in 2 weeks. I just got paid for all the prior work I put in that span of 2 weeks. That's the thing about entrepreneurship. When you win big, and it makes up for all the failures and lack of money on your way to the top. The truth is, we spent the previous 3 years building the audience on based Zeus, essentially making no money or a fraction of that money for over a year to invest in the business and build the audience. Once I had the idea for the product I wanted to release, which was a dating course, I spent over a year hyping the launch of the course in videos, emails, and all of our marketing. So for a year straight, our audience was hyped and primed for the release of this. Throughout the entire year, I worked on the product, got feedback on it, and built all the sales pages and tech necessary to host the program. It required way more than 2 weeks of work to accomplish this home run, but once the framework was set up, it was much easier for us to have really big months like this moving forward. The second thing that allowed us to have such a big month was our extremely leveraged position. We had a huge audience, so all we had to do was leverage it in the right way to create a huge payday. All the time we spent before with our previous business model and promoting other products, we didn't have the right vehicle to take advantage of the leverage we had. And that's why finding the best ways to use existing leverage is the highest ROI activity anybody can do to make more money. Find the way to leverage your existing assets into more capital, or find ways to increase the amount of leverage you have so you can turn it into dollars. The third and last thing nobody will tell you about making a ton of money in a short period of time is that your financial goals need to be way bigger, and I mean way fucking bigger. You may be watching this and think, wow, 100K in 14 days is a lot of money, but what most people fail to realize is that you're not actually taking home 100K, because taxes take about half. Depending on where you live, they'll take 30 to 40%. And not only that, you have to account for all the expenses that went into making the product and the ones you have each month to run the business. After those expenses, you have to pay business partners or people on your team their percentage of the profits if you have a profit share set up. So when all is said and done, it's nowhere near 100K in your pocket. It's only a small fraction. In my case, I really only ended up walking away with maybe 45K after expenses, profit splits with partners, and taxes. And that's not counting the refunds that came the next month. So it's really even smaller. And again, I know 45K profit in a month is still a sick month, but it's much less than the big sexy number of over 100K, which is what the business produced in that same time period. I was recently talking to an entrepreneur friend of mine who's very successful, and he was telling me that his current financial goal was 10 million net worth. But in order to get there, you really need to make at least 20 million because taxes take out half. So whatever your financial goals are, my advice is to make sure you double it, because after taxes, expenses, and everything else, you're really only walking away with half, and a lot of times much less than that. I've had a few big wins like this throughout my career. This 100K month was my biggest month ever, and I've yet to crack that number, but I've had months that were 70, 50, 40, even all the way up to 100, but we've still not yet cracked that number yet, and that is a goal of mine to hit eventually. But these big months typically came after periods of much slower months or years of making no money and losing money because you're investing into the business. So even though entrepreneurship doesn't always get you paid right away, if you do everything right, eventually it'll get you paid big, and it'll make up for all that time on the way up. That's it for me for today. If you like lessons like this and you want to see them in a shorter, bite-sized format, check out my Instagram and TikTok linked below, and comment below to let me know what else you'd like to see me talk about next. Have fun and make money while doing it. I'll see you guys soon.